So with all this gem talk, the new gem vendors got implemented into the game. I really like it, with the exception of, oh, hey, you need a blood rage? Let me get you a blood rage. Oh wait, it's level 15.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Yeah.
I think the gem vendor is actually really, really good for the game. What are your takes on the gem vendor now, Nugi?
I like them. I like them a lot. I think it's one of those things, like, I've had like a whole list of things that I've always hated when I started playing the game. Like, one was, I remember the whole jewel thing, like jewels and fuses, and it was just impossible getting like a 4-link in the beginning. I remember like spending 40 fuses for a 4-link for something that's supposed to be like, it's just build enabling. It's like, you cannot play this game without these like base things. You cannot play this game properly without having gems either. So why are they why did they always keep them from us? So I'm really happy that finally they're just like available, like they always should have been.
Yeah, you kill like what's his name? You kill the Weaver as a shadow, and it's like it offers you faster attacks. You're like, okay, this is cool,
Yeah.
but I want melee fizz. And then you go to the vendor, there's melee fizz, and you're like, awesome.
Yeah.
And another thing, like you said, with like Verici getting a 4-link, that quality of life. Who cares? Here's my 5 fusing. I'm not playing this dice game. You know,
God.
I love the changes they've been doing. The quality of life. There's still a lot more quality of life to be added, but they keep doing a step in the right direction. I think Grinding games finally giving us the gems.
I think they've touched upon the key parts now, though, like the linking and the gems, because this is what, like, the whole idea behind Path of Exile is just like, you connect these different skill gems and magic appears. Like, now 5 projectiles shoot out that will do amazing things, you know?
Yep, exactly. And they're not holding that back from us anymore with this jewel vendor, the gem vendor.
Yeah, it's awesome.
With the exception of the last quest in beta.
Yeah, we
Dahlia.
only get one.
Yeah, where you get multi-strike and whatnot. I don't think those are available until Act 4 Merciless or something like that, and then they're leveled, so... what does this mean for the economy, though? We have jewels coming out, but now gems are obviously going to go down in price in the economy. You're not going to see trade chat filled of want to buy increased duration or reduced mana, rest in peace, things like that. Do you guys think this is going to hurt the economy too much? The new gem vendor?
It will change the economy. I don't believe in hurting the economy, no.
Yeah, I agree. With the changes to jewels, well, with you not having to buy gems as much, I think it's going to allow people to get 5 links early on, and I also think it's going to increase the prices of 5 links because you have all your gems readily available to you. You want that 5 link ASAP. At least
I mean, there's also a possibility of actually still keeping a like if it stays the current way it is right now, where it sells level gems, there's a potential for a market just for level 1 gems, so you can level with that skill.
Yep.
I keep like buying like Hatred. Damn it, don't have the dexterity requirement. Blood Rage. Damn it, don't have the dexterity requirement. Yeah.
Stop
leveling them. I think the quality on gems is going to be much more like, I don't know. It's gonna feel less like, okay, I need this gem. Let's search for if I have quality if we can get quality on it, and paying for that and wasting a whole bunch of time trying to get a deal on that. It takes away a whole bunch of time searching through like PoE trade for gems too. Even if you don't want quality on them. There's still those exclusive gems like Enlighten, Empower, all of that are still going to be expensive, but I think it's good that they're making gems more available and making all of that easier to do.
Yeah, like you'll still spend once in a while. You still buy a Spell Echo or Multi-Strike. In the case of SRS, it needs
SRS.
both. They'll still have your instances. You only get one of those gems. They're not available at the shop until like you beat the game, pretty much. You get it around level 38-ish, and they're available to everybody. But those will still cost some money. GMPs, Spell Echoes, Multi-Strikes.
In
terms of the effect on the economy, it's people had 5-10 chaos that they were spending on skill gems before, and that they're now going to spend on either quality gems or gear for their character. So that's the impact it'll have on the economy. People will have a little bit more money to spend on other stuff in the first couple of days of a new league.
Thank God.
And Oh man, what was I gonna say? Val gems though. It might raise the price of Val orbs because people will be just
spam, yeah.
buying the gem from the shop and then valing it, trying to get the Val gem. So
Also getting a level 15 Valstorm call right away too. It's pretty damn awesome.
yeah,
They don't go past level 15, right? I think that's the highest they can go.
it's a certain amount of XP.
Yeah.
So certain ones only go to like level 11, and others go to like 15.
Something to think about too is now that gem experience has changed. You level your gems a lot quicker to level 19, but 19 to 20 is like super slow.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if all the gems have that change yet, by the way, because I know like when I first played beta, I had gems hitting 19 when some of them were halfway to 19 because they didn't have the old XP changes.
Yep.
Changed.
AOE was one of them. I had the same thing happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think about the gems leveling up quicker? That's a pretty big buff to spellcasters, you would think, for mapping.
It's
I don't know.
really gets you over that early end game hump
Yeah.
as a spellcaster, which is nice, much smoother.
Yeah, it's good for elemental attack-based builds too. I think it's actually a requirement now because we have, all of a sudden we are getting higher level content, which is going to be harder. It's going to have more life, so they have to find a way to raise the damage to compensate while keeping it within these 20 levels, unless they want to add more levels to the gems, which
Like
I think they don't have a sorry. I think they don't have a solution to that yet, because if they add levels to the gems, you're going to have all these rare level 21 gems that are, worthless now.
Mm-hmm. What were you going to say, Nugi?
No, like I've played a lot of characters at like 80 now, very like many different skills, and I haven't actually noted that I'm getting a power increase compared to on live. Like I'm noticing that it's just following the kind of the difficulty levels that you're faced with, the kind of gem levels.
Yeah, they did increase monster
feels
HP
in line with the
and
content.
damage.
Yeah, but
So
I think that's
I'm
different
not seeing
because unless you were
because,
playing something pretty OP, it was there was points where it often didn't feel in line with the content on live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It especially feels like everything is so hard to kill when you're going into 80 maps. And
Yeah.
even compared to like 76s, the difference between a 76 and an 80 is like insane. Mobs have so much HP and they do so much more damage now. So
I was wondering, with all these gem changes, are they gonna reduce the kind of like the drop rates of some gems, like on the normal gems? Like, because I remember baubles being everywhere and nobody picked them up in the end, and so they just removed them pretty
Yeah.
much outside of.
yeah.
So I don't know if
I mean-
the same is gonna happen here.
I'm not going to pick up most skill gems now, really. Like
Yeah.
outside of just
Yeah.
having one of each.
I'll pick up like the good ones, like melee fizz and things like that, or spell echoes. The good ones. But
But when they cost like a chance or an alt, no one's going to bother buying them. No one's going to bother
No.
trading for them.
Yeah.
Nope.
I mean, there's still uses for picking up the gems because you can, you
Making
can use
recipes
them
and
for
stuff.
certain recipes, like, certain
Yeah.
elemental resistance rings, onyx amulets, re-rolling those, basically using gems as a scour to revert an onyx amulet to white by putting in the amulet and then a green, blue, and red, and then you just alch it again, and then just do that over and over if you have the patience to do it.
I don't think it's going to impact the economy too much. I know,
Yeah.
usually in the beginning of a league, I'll just, whatever gem I find, I'll say, like, range attack totem I was selling for, 1 alch at the beginning of last league. No one, who the hell uses that thing? I don't know, but I was making money off of it. Now it's like, screw it, anyone could buy that, so. But jewels I think are going to be a great way to make money.
Oh,
Yep. You could sell good blue jewels if they rolled right.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh man, if you found the right blue jewel, you could find a good blue jewel before they made it easier to roll them. Oh man, those were insane. And now like those stats most of those stats have been buffed.
Yep. I think that the change to the Fell Shrine Jewel quest system. Before all three of those were pretty whatever, except for the flat physical one. But now you have this Pierce Viridian Jewel. That's
What, the
pretty
mana
crazy.
regen one? What? Man, people love the mana regen one.
Yeah, 3 flat's
Yeah.
pretty good with the 10% elemental. Yeah, that one is good. My bad. But now they got rid of the 3 to 7 flat physical. Why? And they also there's like one in Cruel right now that's like completely worthless. Excuse me. It's
Attack
like,
damage.
Yeah, 8% increased melee attack damage. It's like, what?
That
like-
apparently is missing a stat.
Yeah, I think it's
according to
missing
a dev.
affix.
Yeah, missing a lot of things, like everything.
I think it's supposed to have attack AoE or something like that,
Okay. And then
which would be really nice.
the merciless ones are crazy. Like the dodge one, I still think is nuts. What else is there?
Reduced mana.
Yeah, the mana reserve, aura effectiveness, some pretty crazy stuff like that.
It's definitely going to be worth doing those just to sell them.
And because you can get them from a quest, you will be able to
Oh, yeah,
corrupt
yeah.
them. You can keep corrupting them and buying them and corrupting
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Like I could even see some kind of like budget builds arising where you pick up 5 gem slots and you have like one certain stat you alterate for, and they could become very valuable. For instance, like reduced cost. To get like you just do the pathway and you reduce the cost to 0 for a lot of skills, and that could just, I don't know. Like I see that as well. Like for blue gems, just get one stat, you can actually sell it.
Oh, like the biggest one I've seen so far is like summoners, because all of their gems
Oh,
are
yeah,
now multipliers. Like, and plus like with SRS or any physical damage based summon, melee splash and multi-strike have had their increased modifiers removed from them.
Mhm.
So you're no longer getting like 110% increased, technically minion damage
Yeah.
for free, but you can get the increased minion damage on jewels now. You can get like 16% on it or something like that, and that's with all the multipliers. That's crazy.
Yeah, you could maybe even see like minion builds, or like anything that doesn't require you to pick up the plus to a certain amount of skeletons or zombies or whatever. Just do
Yeah.
like completely new pathings where you just use skill gems or jewels instead.
And plus, on top of that, like there's only 105% minion damage on the tree, and you have
Yeah.
all these jewel slots.
Yeah.
Like
Like pick up
3
5
of
and you're
them,
set.
3 of them
Or
suddenly
3.
buffs that up by 50%. The amount of minion damage on the tree, so you can get way more minion damage now.
Hmm.
Have we? Should we talk about lockstep a bit? I think we kind of skipped over lockstep.
Yeah, we did briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about lockstep. Go ahead, kick it off, Ziggy.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so for those of you guys unaware, in the beta currently implemented is a new optional game mode. It's not really a game mode. How do I describe it? It's like a netcode mode or something. Essentially an option that allows you to switch from the current mode, which is known as predictive mode or desync mode, to the new deterministic lockstep mode, which allows you to essentially remove desync pretty much completely in trade-off of having a delay based on your latency. Now, I've been able to test it just briefly over the past 2 days, and it is, as long as you have low latency, it is basically the complete removal of desync with no trade-off. If I have 30 to 35 latency, it stays pretty stable, and I don't feel any delay whatsoever at that sort of latency, and I have no desync. It is godly. It is pretty much everything I ever dreamed of.
Yeah.
I think if you have like over 70 latency, then it starts to become a bit more of a trade-off, maybe around the 100 mark. Kind of depends. You can definitely get used to it around 100, I think, over time, but that's when it starts to become more of a trade-off if you have slightly higher latency. So if you're like rocking 150 latency or something, then you may need to sort of play around with it a bit and decide whether you're okay with having that slight feeling of delay in favor of never desyncing, or whether you'd rather have like a smoother game experience overall and then the occasional desync, which predictive mode has improved dramatically on the beta, so you will be desyncing less anyway. So what are your guys' thoughts on it?
Last night I was messing around with it with you, where I was gaming with you. You're in Australia, I'm over here in the States. I went on your gateway, and I left it in predictive mode, and it really wasn't that bad at all, like at all. I put it in lockstep, and yeah, I noticed a little bit of problems. So as long as you You know, if you play with people from different regions, just make sure that you leave it in predictive, especially if your ping is over like 150 plus. But solo play, lockstep is godly. I live in Dallas, so it's like I don't even notice desync period ever. What are your takes on it, Nugi? Lockstep.
Oh, I love it. Oh, it's a godsend for me. Like, you can play as reckless as you want, just run wherever you want, and you know that if your character is actually out of the way, you're out of the way. I don't know how many times I've opened a box, run out, and I seem perfectly fine, and it just goes, and you're back, and you have to log. Like now, you know that okay, if you can't move past them, if you're actually blocked in, you just log. If you're not plugged in, you're fine, and that's awesome.
You know.
Yeah.
You bring up an interesting point. If they're changing lockstep, does that mean they're going to change out the logout macro and logging out? No.
I don't think so. No.
Because that was the whole reasoning why they allowed it, you know. But they're still predictive. Not everybody has that luxury of lockstep.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's great.
I mean, imagine how much they would have to change if you didn't have the ability to log out. Especially since, you know, there's also delays on if you click a portal, you have to connect to the instance before, or the server has to receive the notification before you actually leave and all that. I mean, I guess it has to even if you click log out anyways, but like imagine trying to progress with corrupting blood in the game without a bleed pot. You know, that's gotta be awful.
Yep.
But
yeah, I say like it's everything you ever dreamed of, but that is dependent on you having low enough latency and then having it also be stable as well. If you have it, if it changes between 20 and 80 for you, like it flickers around, then it's gonna be, you might not even want to use it because of that feeling of changing between not having a delay and having a delay. That will be really noticeable. And if if you lose packets and stuff, like if you don't have a very stable connection, then you're gonna get like lag spikes as you're playing.
Yeah,
I had a few times where I lost like packets to the server. Like they had some issues with the Euro servers after they added new gateways, and it felt like there was a lot of packet loss at times, and you could see your character just just going in small, like it wasn't really affecting the gameplay too much. It just made your character just warp around like very, very subtly.
Yeah, one time I had packet loss and my character looked like Michael Jackson. It was like moonwalking really slow. And I was like, what the hell?
I had one moment during lockstep where like everything just froze for a second. I think the server like froze up for a moment, or I don't know what happened, but I was like in the middle of the cleave animation, and like, you know, that like streak that pops out, it was just like stuck on the screen. I'm like, did the game just freeze? And I press F1 and my bar's still moving. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
what is happening?
That's happened to me. Where you think you're flatlining, but you're not. But
yeah,
given the state of lockstep in its beta stage right now, it's so good.
It is. Yeah.
We're only going to see more improvements from here on out. And for like lockstep, you know, we were expecting lots of problems. Once in a while, you'll crash. I'm not sure if this is lockstep or not. You know, there are still a lot of crashes in beta. I'm hoping that gets ironed out when
there are some bugs with it. Yeah.
It's like moving through boulders you're not supposed to move through if you have lockstep enabled and all that. That's just like,
moving through the butthole in Act 2.
Yeah.
Oh God, Ziggy, please.
It's weird. You walk through it and it's like black. And of course, like every day on Reddit,
you can zoom in, bro. You can zoom in, and then you can see past it. It's hacks.
God, how many screenshots have we seen of that now? Look, I can walk through the undying blockage. It's like, we get it. It's old.
And the Scepter of God door. Oh, cheats.
Yep.
I actually have had a few cases of mob desync. It's when you have insanely huge packs, and like something that can. I think Maelstroms don't have mob collision. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But like you're trying to name lock it and you're not holding shift, and it's actually slightly on a different spot, so your character has to move and everything kind of has to resync. And also something funny when you mentioned the stability thing as a Comcast. I mean, as somebody that doesn't have the most stable net. I actually have a DC server now, which, you know, I get 10 MS to that, but it's not stable because the latency always changes. And and it feels really weird when you're jumping from 10 to 50 sometimes, and it kind of makes it awkward. It actually makes going to Texas and having a constant 50 instead, because my ping sometimes jumps a little bit more of an enjoyable experience. So
Blame Comcast, IMO.
yes.
Comcastic.
I think the full implications and impact of the lockstep changes will take time to reveal themselves. Like, when you first start playing, it feels good, and it feels like there's kind of like a weight lifted off your shoulders. Like, oh, I can just play.
Yeah.
It's comfortable.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like the actual like full impacts in terms of playstyle are going to take a long time to, or at least a couple weeks or a couple months or something, because we've spent like 2 years. A lot of us have spent like 2 years developing a playstyle around desync. Like, we approach mob packs in a certain way, we approach doorways in a certain way. There's a lot of stuff we don't do that we can do now. And even down to the point of like dodging certain attacks, like moving out of the way of certain attacks. You just wouldn't have bothered before because it wasn't reliable enough with desync. But now that you have like that complete reliability, there'll be cases where you start to avoid extra attacks and you can push a bit harder. I think we'll really start to see it like within, halfway through the race season. We'll start seeing times get faster and faster, and people pushing harder and harder and doing things they never would have done before, wiggling their way through packs and stuff.
Like, I don't know if we're gonna see too much of a change in speed, because people were already kind of doing that, and whenever it failed, they just died.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like people were just hoping for the best, and when they got that perfect run where everything actually didn't desync, they were just getting that perfect time.
So it'll be a little bit less luck based, which will be great for the competition.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see more consistent, especially for the people who had bad connections and stuff like that, who are struggling with this. Like, they're gonna be more people being able to compete.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think one of the best changes is just definitely lock boxes. I think that was like the number one cause of desync deaths, was like lock box desyncs, and then maybe once in a while Val desync, and then you get smashed. That was far and few between.
How crazy is the Val fight now, right?
Yeah, the Val fight. Hey, I'm actually not there. I'm not going to die.
You literally just step over his toes when he goes to slam and just keep whacking him. It's like before you were like, you would never really do it. You'd always play a little bit extra safe, just, because sometimes he's going to teleport fast slam man, or you might not be on the other side of him. But now it's so reliable. Because it's such a mechanical fight. Yeah.
And now you don't feel like you have to know these resync mechanics. Like, when I would do maps and I want to rush into a room because I don't want everything to flood in or do something slowly, like I want to go fast, I would like run into a room and then lightning warp into a wall, because lightning warp would resync you, to make sure that I'm actually in the room and to put myself in a safe position. I don't feel like I have to do that so much anymore, and it's really nice to have that. So
I keep hitting my OS macro on beta though, still.
Yeah, Pox was in a party with someone, and he, the percent sign just kept coming up OS/OS in chat, and they were like, "What the heck are you doing?"
Man, it's just muscle memory. After I like move through a pack, OS, man, just move through a door, OS.
Open a box, OS.
Yeah, every time.
I could see those edgy comments in a year from now on Reddit. You guys don't know the struggle. OOS. Only old school players remember this.
Only 2015 PoE players remember this.
Yeah, exactly. So, top 3 skill gems in your guys' opinion right now. Let's go. Ziggy, I'll start off with you. Top 3
skill gems?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I
missed a lot of the crit changes and stuff because I've been away, so I'm not sure now. Before I would have said like Ball Lightning, Cascade, and Reeve is definitely probably number 1 now, I'd say. I'd put Reeve right up there. Ice Crash, I think, will be up there too. I don't know how much Ball Lightning was changed. How much did that change?
it got nerfed pretty hard. I think 20% damage reduction.
Okay, maybe not Ball Lightning then. Number 3 then? Yeah, I don't know about number 3.
For me, it's going to be Reeve somewhere up there. I'm not sure if it's 1 or not. I haven't really messed around with it enough. But Flame Totem, now that it gets 5% crit, Flame Totem's already dumb. And then Shockwave Totem is also really, really insane right now.
I think Shockwave Totem trumps Flame Totem endgame just because of its utility of freezing.
Yep. What,
I'm gonna
what do
put
you
Blood
say,
Rage
Miggy?
as my number 3.
Blood Rage? Fair enough.
Cyclone.
Cyclone.
Cyclone is like
Cyclone?
it's definitely up there. Split Arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit, I should have said Split Arrow.
Split Arrow and just the chain. In general, the chain bow skills are going to be pretty insane, it seems. And then, well, Reeve is definitely strong now. And then, the 2 totems, Flame Totem and the Shockwave Totem, are really insane. And then there's also like SRS and stuff like that. I think we're gonna see some really good minions. But like, there's so many good things out there.
Yeah.
It's so hard to like say which are gonna be top 3 because I haven't even touched like half of them.
Yeah,
So I can only really like say the ones I've tried. So the two totems, Cyclone and the bow builds are mine.
Like, there's so much potential now with the tree that it's really hard to say. Because you have, like, oh, if you want to go... If you need dex-heavy skills and gear, but you want to go through the top of the tree, you'd end up with a whole bunch of int, but you can change all that into dex now. And so there's a whole bunch of, like, pathing optimizations that are there now. So it's really hard to say. Personally, I think Portal cast on crit with Rolling Blades is the best. No, but...
What the heck?
No, not really.
Bloody Uber and his
haven't seen my
Edgemaster
portal-
builds.
You haven't seen my Portal DPS though. No, but right now, Split Arrow Chain is actually pretty good. It seems.
Oh man, it's insanely good.
Yeah,
It's so good.
it looks insanely good.
Rank 1, you
Actually-
have 5 arrows. 5. That's like what rank 11 used to be. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Let's see what else. It's really hard for me to pick between a lot of the skills right now. Like, especially with all the changes that have happened, it's like Split Arrow's definitely up there. The totems are Flame Totem and Shockwave Totem actually are probably up there. I actually would put Blood Rage in the top 3 though, so it's between Flame Totem and Shockwave Totem for number 3, I think.
They're both stupid. Like, Flame Totem, like,
Yeah.
I thought the shotgun changes, like, first off, I was wrong about shotgunning. It doesn't shotgun. And then its damage, like, it feels like it's stronger than, like, live right now. The damage buffs to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It's a good example to throw to people that are paranoid about the shotgunning changes and spills being useless.
Flame Totem's like the
Just
perfect
like
example.
the Flame Totem, man. Looks pretty damn good still.
EK's
Incinerate. I don't know.
Incinerate looks
perfectly
pretty
fine.
I mean,
Yep.
Incinerate to me makes me wonder why would you ever go Firestorm, because it's almost the same damage numbers and it's so much more controlled. So it's like,
Poison Arrow. got a
Firestorm's
huge
cool,
buff,
man. You
too.
get those like iron ball catapult things. Sick, man.
Yeah. My Firestorm when you can go Ice Storm and feel like a real man.
Yeah, I saw him play though. I'll give you that.
Nugi, did you mess around with EK? I thought you were playing EK Totems for a little bit.
Yeah.
How are the changes with the crit chance going up to 6 now?
Well, so I didn't do it self-cast. I did it on totems. And the idea is that you have a higher base crit, right? So there's like a 20% more crit chance on all the ones with 6% over over Flame Totem and Shockwave Totem, which are the 2 other totem skills that doesn't require the support. And so you get like 20% more damage because of that. But for that really to kick into effect, you have to have a very, very high level spell totem, because you need that multiplier to go down to make it in line. And also you have to obtain like absurd amounts of crit multiplier before they start becoming better. But just looking at the numbers, it seems like it's really strong. Like, you can use hypothermia. Like, if you do self-cast, you can do hypothermia as well. Like, there's so many extra for EK. There's so many extra multipliers you can use now. Like, EK always suffered from not having the multipliers out there. Like, what did you put
Yeah.
on it after added fire crit damage?
Yeah, you had to go Hatred, added fire,
Or
crit
Echo.
damage, and then Echo came
Then it's
out,
like
faster casting.
faster proj. Like that's so little extra damage. Like, nobody wanted to use it, but everyone had
Yeah.
to.
Yep.
Now we have you can get faster proj on jewels. There's quality is faster proj, so you can get all the faster projectiles now from other means. So that means you can put in a new
Wait,
A new
there's
support
projectile
gem.
speed on jewels?
Yeah.
Yes,
Up
I'm
to
like
10%. Up to 10.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You get
What?
absurd amounts of I
Yeah.
have like 180% projectile
noticed
speed
this.
right
And the
now.
quality
That's
on
great.
EK now,
God.
the quality
Damn,
on EK
man.
is also proj speed now instead of
Yeah.
damage.
I was pretty happy with that change, apart from the fact that I lost damage when I already didn't have any. But yeah, you can get projectile speed on jewels too. Oh my god.
You could go slow on
Yeah.
proj too if you're totems
Love
because
it.
you just replace the totem. No big deal.
I mean, there's some skills that feel like they become actually more powerful. They're powerful, but they're not really OP until you have a certain unique, like let's say Shockwave Totem with Empire's Grasp. That's just broken right now.
You can just go
I
crit
can't.
so they stay in place though.
Yeah.
Oh man.
My EK hype wheels are spinning.
Except your
Just
Arctic
projectile speed
armor.
in general,
It's pretty
though.
good.
No more Scion, Might Over Matter, or EK.
No. I'll go crit EK, man. I already had a crit EK character going on live, which I actually quite liked. It was really fun playstyle. And the damage was like good enough, so it should be pretty damn decent now.
Yeah.
Like level 19 is the same as level 20 on live as well.
Huge.
And 20 is 21. One thing I actually think not many people have been discussing is heralds and aura
Oh.
changes, like what it does, because you can't use Inner Force anymore.
Nope.
So it means that double herald is not as strong. So it doesn't. Where double herald would empower a lot of the like ball lightning and arc and all this before, it doesn't do it to the same extent anymore. So now you can run hatred with aura nodes. You get some of the aura nodes. I think a lot of people are gonna get a good amount of aura nodes with aura effectiveness on top, and all of a sudden something like hatred will actually trump heralds because you can buff those. And so that's also like something that's gonna be a positive for like the physical spells, Shockwave Totem and EK.
On the same token, the changes to auras meant that the changes to like reduced mana meant that like Herald of Thunder or Herald of Ice now are great for dual cursing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can
Yeah,
go
yeah.
curse on hit, Herald of Thunder, 2 curses.
Herald of
That's
Thunder.
Better than
Herald of-
hatred in my mind.
Herald of Thunder did get an inadvertent buff through Wrath, though, if you're a lightning
Yeah.
spellcaster, because Wrath
Yeah.
gives them more multiplier.
Did.
And you can get Influence, too, which will further buff that. So there are
But then-
some ways around that.
But you're now limited to like what else do you put on there? Like that's a very big commitment
Yeah.
going
Yeah,
that
it's
heavy into mana.
Wrath,
So.
Herald of Lightning, and then probably Clarity. That
Yeah.
would be it.
Yeah, and then potentially, since we have such limited mana pools, we can't just say, oh, let's just take EB and and we still have EB in a kind of awkward state where it's not really fully been explored, but it doesn't, like, we don't really know how to use it too much yet, especially with casters, I feel like. But the whole clarity on life thing, I feel like, is going to be more popular because we have that limited mana pool.
And Clarity's
No,
a much
they
lower
did-
mana cost, too.
How much is a BM Clarity reserve now, though? How much life are you sacking for that?
Like
But
4 or
without
5
any-
in-game.
Yeah, without any aura reduction, it's like 500. So that is a lot.
It is a lot of HP, yeah.
Yeah.
Still.
I want EB to be better, and I wish the EB changes didn't affect CI. That's my only rage behind it.
I think
love
the only thing I can really come up with where EB actually becomes something that you want to pick is if you get duels with
ES on
EB,
hit.
yeah, ES on hit.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that could be
and-
really, especially for like super fast attack speed cleave builds or something like that, Reeve builds, whatever, like Ellie,
Split arrow, man.
Ellie versus
So
Split
good.
Arrow. Well, yeah,
Crush
I
on
think for
Split Arrow
those
with
kind of
that.
builds, like it's very, very strong.
But
Yeah,
what do you do
2
about-
ES on hit duel was enough to support with Split Arrow.
But what do
Voltage
you
battery.
do about casters though? Because on hit doesn't work for casters. That's why.
Rallying Cry. I've been using
Yeah.
Rallying Cry
Yeah.
and Warlord's Mark. Those two, like when I played my Crit Glacial Cascade, I just went dual curse, Assassins, Warlords, and then I used Rallying Cry. That was good to go.
There is also, if you don't go dual curse, with Herald of Thunder, you can actually put Mono Leech on it for free, so that's also a thing. So, I mean, that doesn't fix the ES thing, though. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's just for regular mana. Yeah, the problem with auto battery is that there are quite a few ways of making it work now, and without too much investment even. But the question is always, what's the benefit? And the benefit is either very minor or the sacrifice is too great, like not being able to go Varm Pact and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Get the big box out, get a Shavs ring. There you go.
Oh my. Oh my. Shavs ring. I forgot that even existed. You see so many
It's one of
Vol's,
the
what's it, Vol's devotions, you forget all about Shavs rings.
Yeah, people ask about Shav's ring all the time whenever I'm talking about AB, and it's like, well, yeah, but...
It's very different than people tell you to make a build with Shavs or Wind Ripper or any of those crazy never founds.
Like, I'm gonna try and make it work without that, we'll see.
So overall... Oh, go ahead, Nugi, go ahead.
Or just ignore EB as caster.
Yeah, that's
Just
what
get your
I do.
head out.
Yeah.
Just
The
do
defensive
something
question
else
is
for.
too rough at the moment.
By
I will.
ignoring
What do you reckon?
by ignoring EB, I've actually learned how to play pretty much any caster class as CI now. Because CI, before you couldn't get EB. Now, if you could sustain your mana on life, you could sustain it on CI now if you don't pick up EB. That changes everything. Warlord's Mark is underrated in my opinion. It's such a good curse. So
I think it's
Maybe
actually
getting more
Very
attention.
good.
I think some people overrate it though, because with Thornflesh being in the game now, Curse Immune Thornflesh, and if you're relying on that for life leech, you're dead.
Sounds like RNG. Sounds like RNG to me.
I will say Thornflesh and is extremely easy to spot now,
Yes.
Yeah.
which is very nice. I'm not I don't accidentally just hit reflect anymore.
Yeah.
And it can happen obviously, but it's a rare occasion where I actually miss it, where before it would hide itself very, very well. So
Yeah, it's definitely, if you die to reflect now, you're like, well, should have been paying more attention.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Thornflesh. That's like the rare. It's Thornflesh, or you're rolling it out a map if you're dying to reflect. Like,
Yeah.
The only thing is, I'm concerned that you can still like off-screen reflect and get killed to that. That's like the shittiest
Yeah.
thing, I think.
Yeah.
Like some skills you can't help off-screening with, like if you miss an ice shot and it
Yeah,
goes
ice shot
like,
here.
I
something.
don't know if I like me personally. I don't know if I worry too much about that, because then you just need to make a build where you don't fucking off-screen kill packs.
You always
Like,
go totals. They're OP.
when you're
I
when
mean-
you're in that spot.
That's what I mean, though. Some skills you can't help it. I mean, an ice shot's gonna go astray and
Yeah.
get a massive crit on a reflect bloodlines pack that's off the off the
It
screen.
is.
I mean, again, that's another thing about Warlord's Mark is that you have a lot of people doing the whole Herald of Thunder apply the curse, and if you can off-screen stuff, like you're not going to be in range where your Herald of Thunder can hit it.
Well, that's why you put it on cast when damage taken as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if cast on damage taken has a range limit either.
At any time I've dealt with reflect, it'll pop it on that pack, no problem. Like it will
I've never
curse that
tested
pack.
off-screening custom damage
Yeah,
taken.
I don't know.
I did it with Arc, and it was fine. In
Does
live,
it, when
matter
it
of
procs
fact.
off of reflect damage, does it curse the mob? Does it target the mob, or does it
Yes,
just like
it'll-
spam it
the
on
mob that proc the cast when damage taken threshold,
good.
it will curse that area.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's just a wonder of, is there an actual range limit, or does cast on damage taken potentially bypass that even? I don't know.
Man, these are just like next level questions you got to ask devs because
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
like the
So you know
perfect
what?
storm.
No.
So I think we got some time left for Q&A. We got about good 20 minutes left. What do we got in store for Q&A, Ziggy?
Let's do it. Sonic T1 asks, do you think GGG should change the way that you interact with masters as far as missions go? When you meet them out in the wild, should you have to click begin mission? Some masters instantly talk to them, the missions begins, which is annoying. Should be consistent. Okay. What do you guys think about master missions? I mean, I think there's definitely room for quality of life improvements there. I'd love for Tora to appear next to me once I'd completed the things instead of me having to run halfway back across the map.
I hate Katarina.
Yeah, you mean when I'm farming ledge and Katarina's on one side and it's right when I'm about to exit and I'm about to reset and I have to run all the way back?
Nope.
Yeah,
I'm like, oops,
skip.
get wrecked.
Another quality of life change I'd like to see for Masters is, oh, cool, a Tor, and then you start talking to her and there's dialogue and you're trying to spam it because mobs are now leaping on you. That crap bugs the hell out of me.
Yeah, yeah.
But other than that, I think Masters are fine. Just like little tiny things like that.
Yeah, just some quality of life stuff. Good to chuck on the forums and hope that the devs add it to their quality of life list if they haven't already. Agreed. Ouija wants to know what we think is the best way to kind of build for Ice Crash, or the best starter class for Ice Crash. I feel like there's damage. I mean, I feel like it's like most melee skills. You can play it well as a marauder, or you can play it well as a ranger, depending on just whether you want to build swords or two-handed maces or something like that. I think it just depends on the type of weapon you want to go.
Like, I don't know, Marauder, Ranger, Duelist, though.
I think
Kind of class. Like, you can pick anything you want, honestly, and you can make it work.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would work with one-handed, but it works fine for one-handed. It's just such a high base damage. I think it's 200%, is it not? At like around level 20?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's almost 200%.
Yeah, it's absurd.
Crazy.
Do Dorianis. Like, if you can consider that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, plus it only uses your main hand too. So.
Yeah.
True. Question I have about hypothermia. Does hypothermia give you the multiplier on hit that's chilling, or did they have to be chilled on... No, it does not. So it's the
You
secondary
need to
hit.
chill it first.
You have to chill it. Okay.
Not so good for Ice Crash.
Yeah, not very good for Ice Crash.
Well, you can. It depends. Like, do you need it? Like, if it's only for single target purposes, and you run like an Arctic armor, or you run like something else that can chill for you, you can like run on top and then smack down, and you get the bonus straight away.
Yeah, that's why I use the Ice Golem in some cases, because he rolls in and chills him, and I'm like, yes, hypothermia. So that's good to know.
And then...
Go ahead.
Oh, and then you also have things like Cast on Damage Taken, Arctic Breath.
Yeah.
So.
Good call on that. The goal with Ice Crash, I think we're all in agreement, is the goal is to one-shot a pack with it. A white pack, if you're not one-shotting with it, problem. A blue pack, maybe 1 or 2 hit, but that's how it's kind of like Leap Slam, where you want to jump on it, kill it all.
I mean, you should pretty much always be one-shotting a white pack, no matter what skill you're using.
I kind of disagree with that whole statement.
Okay.
Like, it's supposed to. Like, if you go one-hander, there's very... Like, if you do crit one-hander, you can, like, hit a few times and then poof, it all blows up and shatters. Like, if you do Dorianis, and I know on standard, like, it's very easy to obtain a Doriani, so it's actually not... Like, plenty of people will do a build like that. They'll do Ice Crash. They have decent attack speed, and then you freeze everything, and then when you kill something, it just... Because you get all that elemental damage and you scale AoE as well, and you do Hell of Ice, it just cascades outwards. So it doesn't matter that you're not one-shotting like the entire pack in the first hit, because whenever you do kill something that's frozen, the entire screen will blow up.
Yeah, it just cascades through.
That's true. That's true. Something I forgot to mention too is it may seem gimmicky, but it works. Is using physical to lightning with it, and you have 100% elemental conversion, and then just stacking wed. Very,
and then
very
you
good.
can curse with all sorts of things as well. Yeah. Like you might even not even run added fire. You might run something else, and you would have someone else EEing with fire, and there you go.
Yep, you're set right there with lightning and cold damage.
Yeah.
What do we got for our next question, Ziggy?
Can you from Knifey? Can you talk about the ways to support the new Blood Rage change? You said basically just get 4% life regen, didn't you, Zeno? That's the breakpoint. You've lost your voice. You muted.
Can you hear me? Hear me? All right, sorry.
Yep,
Yeah,
Gotcha.
by going just getting a good amount of life regen, and then you're set. Or you could keep up endurance charges until you have the life regen I've been doing. I believe Fortify. Does Fortify work with it too?
Nope.
No.
It doesn't work with any
No, it
kind
doesn't
of
work with
degen.
degens.
Okay, so it's just endurance charges and then like Soul of Steel and Chaos Golem. So
Yeah. If
There's
you've
also a
got
note-
like endurance charges up most of the time in a Chaos Golem, then you don't need as much life regen. And the life leech carries as well, like as long as you're attacking mobs.
Duelist Start is by far the best probably, and then Marauder, and then Ranger, I would say, for the regen. Ranger you have to get to the
Scion.
Duelist tree. Yeah, Scion too.
Scion also has those jewel sockets, so there's that too.
Ooh, those
Damn
sockets.
jewel sockets. It's gonna take a
Oh,
while to
yeah.
explore that.
Yeah, I can't do it
And-
in beta. Can't do it in beta right now.
No.
I also want to mention. I also want to mention. I don't think we said that Soul of Steel also has physical damage reduction.
Yeah, I said that.
Okay.
Come at me. What do we got next?
The Royal asks, crit versus non-crit. Can non-crit scale higher than crit? What do you reckon? What do you reckon, Noogie? About crit versus non-crit? How's it
Like, no, cannot scale higher because you can never get, like, the crit multiplier is the highest multiplier in the entire game. Like 700 crit multiplier up to 1,000 or whatever, you cannot outscale that. In general play, will you have builds that are stronger than crit builds? Yeah. For a majority of the game, sure you will. Crit is one of those like things that you layer on top in the end. So it's kind of hard to say crit versus non-crit because it's dependent on where are you in your tree, what skill are you using, what's the goal of the character. Like there are so many variants that you have to take into account before you can really like talk about what's gonna outscale, because it depends on what kind of purpose. But damage-wise, nothing can outscale crit.
Yeah,
I mean,
agree.
You also have the whole consistency thing.
Yeah.
Like, you might have like imagine if you could get 2,000 crit multiplier, but you only have like 50% accuracy and 20% crit chance. Like, you might have an insane tooltip, but you're never hitting. So
Just get 10
Well,
attacks
accuracy
per
actually
second,
helps your
and then-
tooltip, so.
I mean,
And it's kind of like, well, I'm playing a dagger spec, go crit. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
No one plays non-crit daggers. Someone's gonna freaking prove me wrong.
somebody's trying. Because there's that new dagger with the block on
Yeah,
it.
actually, Zeno, I use the Chaos Flame Dagger, and I do. Here we go. Next question.
Good. That's a good dagger.
Brainbuster asks, what do you guys think about having 42% increased curse effectiveness on the tree now?
OP.
Well,
Bottom line.
Curses are pretty freaking strong, man, and curse effectiveness is definitely a very powerful mechanic to get. And now that you can maybe grab a bit of that while having dual curse on Herald or something like that for easy dual cursing, it's
But there's curse immune mobs, which I think is kind of an issue. Like, you have all this curse effectiveness, but you have some mob type that completely negates that. And you even have a map mod that completely negates that. So there is a problem with it. It's really strong when it works, but when you have that immunity, it's like, well, I'm useless now.
Yeah, it kind of makes up for the lack of inner force now, I think. Like, it's a good way
Yeah.
to work around inner force being gone. It definitely helps out a lot.
But it's situational.
It's Curse Immune it's rares once in a while. Rares more often than not, and then once in a while you find them on a blue pack or a map
And
mod.
then map, map
For
mod.
mapping, you just ignore it. Like you just ignore the mod and don't run it.
Yeah, agreed.
Like that, mapping right now is at a point where you don't have to. You can decide what mod you run on every single map you do, because you can use Sana and stuff like that, and you can always sustain. I mean, if the whole purpose is just sustaining and making use of a certain build, you can always like roll around that in terms of mapping.
Like,
Someone asks, Fluffy says, do you think Curse Immune should be changed to resist curses as in a curse effectiveness reduction?
Yes.
Agree. Yep.
So it's more effective against bosses.
So
it's
no,
less
some
effective.
mods spawn with instead of being curse immune, they're like curses are 50%
Oh,
effectiveness.
curse immune. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, we can't be Curse Immune. The best we could do is Curse Reflection. The only time we be Curse Immune is on a flask, and that's
We can also-
temporary.
And some reduced effective curses, I think.
Yeah, but those uniques kind of suck.
Yeah. Eh.
Time
Somebody's
pass?
gonna say.
I think it depends on the numbers. If they're too resistant, then it's just like they're curse immune anyway, because you don't get any effectiveness of it, and it's not worth cursing them. But if it's too little, then it's like a whatever mechanic, you don't even notice it. So
I think right now
Well,
Temp
I'd have to
Chains
find the
is
right
like
number.
Temp
Yes.
Chains is so strong because they increase the slow by 10% at all
Oh my
ranks.
God.
So Azanaths are like great leveling gloves. Now they're like great endgame gloves. Screw it, I'm using Azanaths on everything. Oh, and I want to use Hypothermia, so I want to Chill, which stacks with Temp Chains. It's just so strong. So
every build
freaking
turns into a Gouda, making mobs not be able to move.
Yep.
Build.
Like,
love that.
at the same point that I worry about curse immune, like, kind of making it pointless, I also worry about if you have all of this curse effectiveness and like 2020 temp chains, 2020 enfeeble, like, how do you die to anything that's cursed with that? Seriously, how do you die to that?
Get one shot. No matter how
just-
slow they go, they can still one shot you.
I mean, yeah.
And that Osakati smash it takes 10 minutes to land.
Yeah. You just
Jeez.
like walk out of it. You walk to the other side of the map by the time he's done.
Alrighty, next question. Hey, I think you already answered this in chat. I'll ask it again. Haste asks, especially to Nugi, do you think the passive that gives you crit on totem placement is going to be needed for self-cast crit builds?
No, I don't
What
think
does
so.
this mean by that?
Self-cast crit builds. Like, so what he means is that you have to place down a totem to get the global crit buff.
Oh my god!
Which
like
is
chuck a decoy
super
totem down.
tedious.
Yeah, no, not worth.
I think
Damn.
you're gonna see builds where I think trappers are gonna use this. You throw down a totem, trap, totem, trap. You can even have a totem that does like arc and EEs for you. And then you throw cold and fire traps on top or whatever. So I think for certain builds it's gonna be very strong, but not as a necessity for crit self-cast crit.
I
builds,
You can
no.
use it with cast when damage taken too, but that's only for 4 seconds.
I mean, you could
Yeah.
potentially do something with like Ziggy's unique, where you put like a flame totem in the ring, and have that for like single target on bosses. Since bosses have reduced curse effect, but they don't have reduced elemental equilibrium effect effect. Only the ring does, but it's still stronger than cursing most of the time. And you have that, and you can use like crit ball lightning or something without worrying about the ball lightning actually applying EE. So
Yeah, there might be some cases where you can use it as a bit of a boost.
yeah,
The only problem
I
is
mean-
it's kind of out of the way because normally you don't take that path anymore.
Yeah,
And it's you still have to spend 4 points to get it or 3 points to get it. So
For CI, it's always in that general area. It's fine for that, and for hybrid builds as well, you can easily make use of it.
Also, at Zeri, like since if you don't want curses reflected back to you, you can just put it on a totem, and then you have that free crit while doing it Zeri.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too bad castle damage taking totems doesn't work because Normax has a
I
chat.
didn't know they took that
Can
out.
you imagine?
Rip.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rip.
That'd be just like free 100% increased crit all the time. Well,
That's
for the
why
passive.
damage taken. Like I don't even use it in beta. I don't think I've used it at all in any build in beta.
I've used it
I
for
have.
Mortal Call, and it's actually pretty decent if you're feeding self-endurance charges pretty consistently.
There's if you do like a summoner build, or especially with like a dominating blow or a animate weapon, you can put cast on damage taken convocation, and that just like all of a sudden all your mobs are on top of you, like wrecking the crap out of some mob that's attacked you. So,
If you're not using curse on hit, castle damage taken, warlords markers, great.
Yeah.
Just level 1.
yeah.
Yep.
It's pretty decent.
What do we got for the next question?
Guilty13 asks, what do you think about that you can buy already leveled gems from the vendor instead of taking it as a quest reward? It seems like it's like in terms of how much it levels, it's only kind of pseudo in line with your character, not as good as if you had actually taken it and leveled it with yourself, right?
Right. I mean, I think with the XP it already had. Well, depends if you're getting the gem from the quest before you can actually use it. I think. So. I'm not sure.
My take on it is it's really nice when you're playing a new character. There's most of the time though when I go to buy the gem, I can't even use it because it's higher level requirement than I currently am. That's really awkward. It's like, oh, I can't wait until 38 and I'm 36. What the heck? So I think that needs to be tuned a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's really nice when you can get 3 links early on now, and usually you get your first support gem. But most of the time you want to benefit from 2 support gems, and so you get your 3 link ASAP now, your 4 links much quicker without having to wait.
Yeah.
Before I had to it's like physical projectile attack damage or faster attacks. Now I can just get both. You don't have to worry.
And.
I love the system overall. I think it's
great.
I mean,
pretty damn good.
Just need some fine tuning, and it's
yeah, it's a
Okay.
brand new system. They just put it in, so it's bound to have some problems.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do we got next?
How often do you find your guys, this is from GSS, picking up a dual socket when planning a build? How do you feel about the power cost ratio of them? So do you guys, when you're planning build, plan out dual sockets?
yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes.
Like,
If
go ahead.
I was gonna say, if I don't have like a specific unique jewel that I need for that build, then I'll usually plan for at least one dual socket, but I'll try and keep in mind alternate routing architect that's efficient for. So I'll like have some different routing in mind for if I want to grab an extra dual socket, because it depends on if you get it like a really good dual, right? I think later on, when the economy is more developed, you might start planning with jewels in mind because you already have like a bank of jewels and stuff like that. At the moment, though, it's like, well, I don't know if any jewels exist that are good enough for me to take this empty passive for now.
Right now, I plan on when I plan builds, I plan around 2-stat jewels. Is it worth it if I get a good 2-stat jewel? That's what I plan around. Later on, when we go in game and like when release and all that, like it goes live, I'll start playing around like 3 to 4-stat jewels, and that might actually prompt you to go one node further for a jewel slot.
If my spec crosses anywhere near through, like if I'm going Scion Life Wheel and I could get something that's like very, like super, like it would only be better if I was a Shadow versus a Scion in like the min-max, I'll still pick Scion, so I'll just play Scion now and plan for 2 jewels. Or if I'm, for instance, like I'm playing the Dodge Ranger right now, I know I want the Dodge jewel, so I'll plan for 2 points at least going towards jewels.
Yeah. And like the Scion has a lot of jewel slots available to it, and obviously you're not going to have a lot of jewels early on, so like the biggest problem with Scion right now and it wouldn't be a problem in the middle of the league, is just leveling with it it can be a pain.
Yeah, you don't get any damage early on as a Scion.
There's no damage.
You need to get like a really good leveling unique, because who wants to pick up 6% melee damage, honestly, or 2% move speed? Come on.
Oh god.
Those need to be fixed. They're so bad.
No, they don't need to be fixed. They're like that for a good reason, because the Scion now is actually a pretty powerful spot, and there's a lot of reason to go Scion now.
Oh my god, can you imagine twinking out a Scion once you have like a sick bank of jewels as well as the
That's
leveling
true.
uniques?
She does have the highest potential for min-max, but
Yes.
have you ever picked up 2% move speed or 6% melee damage?
Yes,
So,
because I made a max move speed build, or tried to.
okay, so other than trolling,
my name is Gouda.
other than trolling, have you ever picked up those nodes? So it's not that they need to be fixed. It's just they're like there, doing nothing. What do you guys think about the jewel changes to the like the little 4% outskirt ones? Before it was 4 points for like it was like 4% melee damage.
Yeah, one
4%.
less now.
It's 1 less now. It's only 3 points to get the jewel. The ones in the very end, like the projectile one near phase aggro.
That's good.
Yeah,
They're terrible before. They're just they're less terrible.
It really, you have to have a good jewel to put it in there, or you have to have intuitive leap or something.
I only think those are worth it for intuitive leap. For now.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah.
Once
When
we
there's
have a
really
good
good jewels,
economy,
exactly.
It has to
Once
be
we have a good
quite an
economy,
insane jewel though. But yeah.
Yeah, they're still the worst on the tree. Like,
By far.
there's ones that are 1 point or 2 points going, but they're 3 points and then a pass. Is it 3 points and then a jewel, or is it 2 points and a jewel?
It's 2
now?
points in a jewel before it was 3 in a jewel.
Okay, yeah.
I think those are there for very, very specific builds that need like specific jewels. Like if you want to go like some bow block build, I know somebody was trying to do that. You have a jewel socket near like rolling barrier and all that on the left side of the tree. So there's also that.
Well, I think we got time for one more question, Ziggy.
Okay. Takeda asks, what is the status of survivabilities for casters? How? Question mark, question mark, question mark. How do survive?
Oh, man.
Kill it before it kills you.
It's definitely an awkward position, yeah.
It's
Casters?
awkward.
I can give you plenty of ways to survive.
Yeah, there's tons of different ways. It's just harder than before. Like you maybe
I think it's
because you go first, Uber.
It's no longer, hey, I can just slap on a Cloak of Defiance and I win. So
You
that's
can
all I
just
want
slap
to
on
say.
a coil or a
Yeah.
belly of the beast. It provides you with the exact same thing. You can. It kind of does.
Kind of.
7,000 life is, or 6,000 life as soon as you slap it on is pretty damn huge.
Do you reckon we might see
And-
more Iron Will spellcasters? I feel like we might. It's kind of like
Yes.
a
Yes.
combo.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
I mean, you also have a lot of casters that use a lot of blue gems that need like 4+ blue
Yeah.
sockets. So
They will get a pledge or a Searing Touch.
yeah. Well,
There's
then
still
you
a
guys,
CI too.
then you have to run a purity pretty much as
Yeah.
well. But I mean, that's fine.
Well, let's see. Reflect is much easier to deal with now as spellcasters. Totems got buffed. Arctic Armor is pretty much a pain in the ass to keep up still. EV's got wrecked. Going acrobatics in phase acro is really not that bad as a caster anymore because there's jewel sockets on the way down now. They changed the tree, and there's also those pierce nodes. And there's also new pierce jewel, so it's actually worth picking up those pierce nodes now, I feel. I don't know.
And
I think there's plenty of good options for survivability as a spellcaster in general.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to play an EB spellcaster, then your survivability options are quite limited and it's quite
Yes.
tough.
yeah.
There's always a
Yeah.
Daring Cry. Have fun.
That's the major problem with EB at the moment. It's like you get like the tiny little piddly bit of armor you can get. You get Immortal Call. You stack endurance charges, whatever you can, and constantly cast Enduring Cry, and it still feels pretty awkward.
I think the question is, how does witches stay alive? Because it's mainly anyone picking up witch going to the top side of the tree, where the survivability is lacking.
With the exception of
Yep.
CI still, like, ES builds still feel really
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you can go hybrid as well. So I think hybrid and CI are going to be the main ways of making builds on that
Yeah.
area of the tree.
Really, I think it's just EB spellcasters that are struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the whole Cloak of Defiance thing got pretty nerfed, and I feel like it's kind of with good reason because it was one of the few things where it mitigated everything that hit you except for degens. So
Yeah. I mean, Cloak of Defiance, like, I know EV wasn't changed around it, but I feel like Cloak of Defiance kind of stemmed that. And I think the community overall would agree that EV still needs some more work. Like, we've gotten some good things, but it still needs more.
I'm sure there are devs that have tested EV and have come up with some insanely overpowered things with it that we haven't discovered yet. And whether that be because we don't have the gear for it yet, or because we have just straight out haven't discovered it yet, I don't know. But
Yeah, it's hard to test a lot of this stuff in the beta with it being wiped and there not really being much of an economy to speak of.
no PoE trade, no, not even being able to link items on the forums even.
God, I would love to trade in the beta. Like, other than trade chat. It's so painful. Like, I spam
like
trade chat
old-
for, like, an hour for a Crown of Thorns. I mean, please.
It's just like old times.
Yeah.
Classic.
Anyways, I think this concludes the episode. I want to thank both Nugi and Uber for coming on. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this atmosphere more, where it was a bunch of bros chilling and talking. Thanks again for tuning on. I'd love to have you guys back again in the future.
Yeah, it was awesome, guys. Thanks. It's been real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
If you guys would like to
Enjoying
give
it?
a shout out to your Twitch and your YouTube where people can go ahead and find you.
Do it. Go Nugi.
Well, I'm Nugi, or Nugiyen, and you can find me on twitch.tv/Nugiyen. I stream every day at usually around 3 p.m. And also you can find me on my YouTube.
3 p.m. his time. He's in Denmark.
Yeah, +1 GMT.
I'm Uber, and I don't actually have a full out streaming schedule set up yet, but I'm getting there. My Twitch is twitch.tv/TheUberElite, and my YouTube, which I've actually been starting to get more active on, is TheUberClips. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I forgot to put your YouTube in the overlay, and I have been watching some of your videos, so I definitely should have done that. Check it out. If you want some nice Edgemaster builds, definitely check out it.
They're not just edgy. They work.
Yeah, working, functioning edgy builds.
There's a difference between
Edgy
edgy
builds.
and edgy builds that work.
Yes, exactly. No, that's why I say Edge Master, right? There's edgy and then there's Edge Master.
Yeah. He's the CEO of Hot Topic, confirmed. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in again. I'm going to make sure I wait for delay because Ziggy will kill me if I don't.
Yes.
That's about it.
Please. Please, you know.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Got any grapes?